Okay, friends, here's our next little tutorial here. I got a number of just kind of different skills here I want to kind of put together, maybe different ideas to help you out as you start to code. First one here, I'm going to create a template, all right? And if you look at this code here, this is the strict XHTML code that Snyder talks about in Chapter 4. If you run this particular code through a validator, you're not going to get any errors on it, okay? And this is a template. I'm going to call this a template, and I'm going to use this for every single web development project I work on, because the code's going to be the same. And if you look at this code, it's difficult to write. There's a lot of there's opportunity for lots of syntactical errors here. All right, so I'm just going to save this as a template, and then I will use this for everything I do from here on out. So instead of starting with just like a blank canvas, I have actually I can start. I'm going to call it template.htm. Okay. Now wait, something just happened when I put the HTML extension on there. And you notice how in Notepad it started putting some syntactical checking in there. If you don't have it named HTML, if you name it HTML, it will automatically do that. But there's a little flag here, and I'm under if I go to language, where I can have syntactical checking done. All right, just by the fact that I'm using a source code editor rather than just plain old Notepad, which is your regular editor. Okay, and then by doing that, I think it's always easier too, and you'll see a lot of folks do that. Once I have something under like heading here, I'll go ahead and tab in to indent that, and title, I'll indent this as well. Okay, so then when I collapse this, it just kind of organizes my code. All right, here's my body, and I can open or collapse my body, and then when I go to start writing code in here, I can go ahead and I can tab that in. Okay. All right, so that's one skill here that I want to reinforce. All right, once I have that saved, I'm going to close out Notepad right now, Notepad++, and I'll go back into this particular file here. And here's my template, and I'm going to delete some former work I was engaged in. And so I have template there, and I'm just going to make a copy of it now. Okay, so rather than edit that all the time, I'll make a copy and I'll paste that. And I'll set up my framework here. Okay, so this one I'm going to call index. Oops, hit F2 to edit. All right, and then I'm going to take this, I'll make a copy of it again. I'll go into my Unit 2 folder. I'm going to delete all this other stuff I was working on. And I'll do paste. Whoops. And let me do this. And I'm just going to do a couple of these. I'll go assignment 2.3. Go copy, control, paste it. Okay, rename it. Assignment 2.4. Okay, so I've kind of laid out all the pages that are going to make up this particular website. All right, and there's nothing in them right now. All right, but let's put something in them here. So if this is going to be assignment 2.3, let me grab my Notepad editor. I guess I shouldn't have closed it out here. I can find it again. Okay, so I got my Notepad editor. I'm going to close my template, and I'm going to open up these other files that I have. I'll just say open up assignment 2.3. Say open up assignment 2.4. I can do this by drag and drop. Yeah, I'm going to say open up index. Okay, so I got my whole web development project now, and I can start working on it. Okay, so let's put some let's load this up a little bit. All right, so I'm going to put a title in here. All right, I'll go over here. I'll call this one as a title here. I'll call this assignment 2.3. Call this one over here assignment 2.4. Okay. And I'll save all these. This is the save all button here. I'll minimize this. All right, let me just pull up some of these files. I'm going to open them all with Firefox here. Okay, so here's my web page, and there's nothing on it, of course, but you can see it's been, you know, the changes have been updated here, because there's my web page that I put in the title. I'm going to Unit 2 here. There's assignment 2.3. Notice how I'm checking to make sure all this stuff works too before I write a bunch of code. All right, and there's assignment 2.4. Okay, so they're all up, and I should be able to do some good work now. All right, so let's go over my index, and what I want to do in my body here. Just put a title in here. I'll use a header to do that. And by the way, keep mentioning it's helpful to indent. Helps organize my code. All right, so I'm going to call this my web page. All right, and then what I want to do is I want to create a couple. Here's an absolute. All right, and then we'll make that a, what do we use? Use a singleton tag here. And here's a relative link to assignment 2.3. Here's a relative link to assignment 2.4. And I'm going to save those, Control S, and I'm going to just pull them up, make sure it all comes up in my web browser. I got my web browser here somewhere. Here it is. Go back over to my web page. I'll refresh. Okay, so there it is. That's what I got so far. Let me make that just a little bigger so we could all see it. All right, so nothing fancy here, but I'm going to just demonstrate these relative absolute links. All right. So first, absolute link. Very simple, I think, for all of us. And this, remember, this applies to images too. Anything that we want to put a hyperlink to or display. This one we're just going to put in the full URL. Okay. So I start the anchor tag. I'm going to wrap it around this chunk of text, so I need to close it here. All right. I'll save it, and let's go back over and see if it works. Refresh. All right, I got hyperlink there, and make sure it takes me, and it does. Okay, so that works. All right, let's go to our relative links now. All right, so I want to create a relative link, and if I go back to my file structure, okay, recognize that assignment 2.3 and 2.4.htm sit under the Unit 2 folder. All right, so if I'm going to use a relative link, I think the easiest way to utilize it, I use the anchor tag again. All right. And then I'm going to use a directory marker. Directory markers are either period or period. Okay, period means from relative to where I am right now in my directory structure. Okay, which means relative in my example here in the portfolio. Okay. And then a / indicate that I want to change directories. And then I want to tell it to go to Unit 2, which is the folder it's found under. And then select the file assignment 2.3 HTML. Okay, then I need to close that. All right. There's my first relative link. Let's make sure I didn't make a syntactical error here. Hit F5 and let me pull it up. Great. Takes me to assignment 2.3. All right, let's do the same for assignment 2.4. In fact, I'm going to use some copy and paste code here. And I'll just change the 3 to 4. Make sure I include close my anchor tag. Save it. Do a refresh. Okay, and there's my assignment 2.4. Right? Okay, so let's use one more example here of relative links again. I'm going to go over here to assignment 2.3. And now I want to link back up to my index page. All right, and what's complicated here is my index page is up one level in the hierarchy. Okay, or it's in the parent folder. Might be another way of thinking of it. All right, so let me do this. Let me put a header here, and I'll say assignment 2.3. Okay, if I want to go to the main index page, let's put a link to it. Call whatever I want here. All right, now let's create that relative link. All right, so I'm going to say anchor href equals, okay. Now instead of saying a single dot, I'm going to say dot dot, which means go to the parent directory / and then pull up index.html. Close my anchor tag. All right, so here's my notation, and again, to get back to our directory structure, I'm here in assignment 2.3. I want to go up one level, go up to portfolio, and then pull up this file. Save it. See if it all works now. Okay, so I'm going to go to assignment 2.3, and assignment 2.3 now has a link to the main index page. And if and another tip too, if you look at the lower left-hand corner of my web browser, anytime I mouse over something, it shows me what file I'm going to. You see how that links to the appropriate file? Okay, so that wraps up our tutorial here on absolute and relative links.